to be able to contribute to environmental causes that I love and believe in every single month without thinking about that. Like, that's just a complete joy. And we want to just extend ourselves, and we do need money to do that. And you're absolutely right that as we help people, the money comes as a byproduct. You know, it does, but you've got to have some intentionality too around that piece of it. Have some intentionality to make millions, not to just make 500 a month. Make thousands and thousands. Why not? You'll do good things with it. So I think we get nervous around money because we're not quite sure, because I think a lot of times when we grew up, it was like, well, people with money are you know, they're selfish, and it's all, you know, and in many corporations we've seen the examples of how corporations have, you know, harmed and hurt our planet or others, you know, exploitation, and so we get very scared of these things. So you have to kind of like be willing to start to really think for yourself. What would you be like if you're making $10,000 a month? You know, rather than like, oh, I think those people that make a lot of money, they're just bad and selfish people. How about you? Can you trust yourself to be good with that? And so a lot of what we do with Nikken is we start to think for ourselves, and we cleave to those that are thinking perhaps on a higher level than we are, because we never know. You don't know what you don't know. Right? You don't know what you don't know. None of us. We don't know what we don't know, and so we need to connect with others who may have a window in to something about us that we haven't seen, potentiality that we haven't yet seen, perhaps shadow areas that we haven't yet seen, so that we can get clear on those things. So truly, and we know from Humans Being More, how many of you were last weekend in Humans Being More? Right, me too. I was doing it too, in Colorado, in Longmont, just above Boulder, and so many ahas. And you know, it's the 21st time I've done it. I do it every year, and it's not because I forgot what the exercises were. I think I know the exercises. Is that the point, that you know the exercise? No. Like somebody said, oh, I've done that once. I've been there, done that, you know? No, that's not the point. The point is that you are different in every given moment, in any given day. So if you do that once a year, you're going to realize, wow, there are ahas that you get in that training that you never got before, about yourself, about others. So if you're struggling, like how many of you are struggling mostly in the physical realm? How about the financial? Okay. How about the mental? Okay. How about the family? Okay, pretty even actually. And society. How about those of you who think you're not making a difference enough? Okay. Okay, quite a few. Okay, so that's a pretty balanced group actually. Usually what you'll find is the biggest problem is in the financial. But what's really the bigger problem is it's in the spiritual, mental, emotional. The financial is just the outcome, the outpicturing of the limited thinking. You know, and so we constantly, in Nikken, we're constantly reading books, we're constantly sharing ideas. I mean, Mike and I, it's hilarious. I'll be like, I'm just reading, and he's like, and he'll be like, yeah, I know, I'm reading it too, or something. I mean, it's like bizarre. We're so often on the same track without even knowing it. You know, we're listening to the same kind of thing. So don't just believe everything that you read out there in society. When I started Nikken, I made a vow that because I understood, like Reed Nelson said, you know, make a decision, you know, formulate a plan, but figure out what you're going to sacrifice, right? And I was like, sacrifice? I'm not sure I like that word, sacrifice. You know, but what am I going to surrender? And then make a plan, and then, you know, make the plan, right? Plan the plan, and then work it. Work the plan. You know, you have to be in action, you have to do stuff. But then one of the key areas in there was this sacrifice, surrender thing. And I'm going to suggest to you that a lot of times we need to sacrifice listening to the news every morning. Reading the newspaper, you know, who goes to bed with the TV on, you know, watching the news or whatever. Or soap operas or whatever. You know, I figure, you know, I want to control as much as I can what information I choose to take in. And there's so much information out there that is so erroneous. And if you take it in and think it's true, well, the onus is on you. I mean, that's the thing. You have to pick what you're going to take in, right? Just like every day you choose what kind of food you eat. You get to choose. Nobody's forcing you. You got to eat those bangers and mash or whatever. No, you get to choose. I'm going to eat this or I'm going to eat that. Well, it's the same with information. And I would suggest to be very, very, very thoughtful about what you allow to come in, whether it's from the media or whether it's from your friends, quote unquote, because often friends can be very negative, can be, can really like, taking you off your footing. Family members, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? What about your own inner voice? What are you listening to there? You can eliminate all the external negatives, but you'd still have the inner stuff going on, right? So we have to counteract that. We all have that. All of us are human beings, and we all have the ability to be incredibly positive, and we have the ability to be incredibly negative, and sometimes it's just a switch of a switch, isn't it? It's just a switch, and it's just a decision to switch it. But there are things you can do that will really, really help, that will really help you stay on the positive track. And one of them is simply your life cycle plan. Don't just make it and stick it in a drawer. Look at it. Really look at it. Like I have mine, I have them around my office, and I love them. And my drawings that you do in Humans Being More with your opposite hand, your non-dominant hand. So I do mine with my right hand. I had one of the guys come up and say, Julie, you're supposed to do it with your non-dominant hand. I'm like, it is my non-dominant hand. And he's like, it's too good. I'm like, well, I'm sort of ambidextrous. What are you going to do about that? But I have those up, as silly as it may seem. Those are important. They're your dreams, and they're coming from a deeper part of you. Put them up around your house. Put up your next goal. I am so happy and grateful to now be a silver consultant on or before, and then put the date and put it up. Gold, platinum, and diamond, and really look at it. Let it come in. Let it come into you. Write your affirmations. Read them and read them aloud. Make an affirmation CD. It's easy now because our phones have that little recording thing. I was so excited about that. And all you need to do is you take the 5 pillars of health and you decide on 3 things in each pillar. And you make them very, very specific. Not just, I want to be happy or I want to be healthy. No, it has to be really specific. And the physical, I'm so delighted to be the perfect weight of whatever you want your weight to be. I'm thrilled to be working out 5 days a week, or whatever it is you choose. And then financial, I'm excited to be making $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month in my Nikken business. I am delighted to be bringing in 3 to 6 seniors and executives every month into my Nikken team. Simple but precise. Give the universe precision so it can reflect back to you. And then the key when you've done these in all the areas is to listen to it. It's not just to make it, it's to listen to it. Why? Because all of us have the negative voices going on and on and on, and we need to counteract it with the positive voice. Now maybe the negative voice when you were a child was your dad. Maybe it was your mom. Maybe it was your big sister. I had a bear of a big sister. She was a bully. She scared the daylights out of me. She used to think of all the different ways she could kill me. That was her joy. That was her joy, and I knew it. Trust me, I knew it. From about 2 years old, I was like, I'm in deep trouble here. I am not safe in this household, And so still, sometimes when I achieve something, there's this part of me that goes, are you going to get in trouble now? Because she used to stick me down the bed and then put the bed sheets down, and then I couldn't get out, and I couldn't breathe, and I'd panic, and get me out, let me out, let me out. And she wouldn't let me out, I know, it's funny, but it was not funny. It was scary. I was like, my life is on the line with this person, So I still have that voice that the moment something happens, I freeze, like, oh, I'm in trouble now, like, who's gonna get me now? So I too have to do the affirmations, like, I am safe to achieve, it is safe for me to achieve. So what is it that you need to work on? And then really, really bring that in. Don't listen to the negatives out there. Don't listen to the ones in here either. start choosing what you are listening to, what you are putting yourself in front of. I'm just started reading a book called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, and you know, I've had this book forever, and Reed Nelson the other day said, I'm reading this book, The Magic of Believing, and I said, I think I have that somewhere on my bookshelf, because I have this big bookshelf with all these fabulous books, and so I plucked it off to bring it with me and started reading it. I haven't gotten very far yet, but again, it's like he's saying, you know, believe that you can achieve, believe that you can have it. Now, you know, for women, I think we have to embrace our masculine side along with our feminine. And for men have to embrace their feminine along with their masculine. And Nikken's a great tool for that. It's a great vehicle for that, because we get to practice. You know, if you're not very heartfelt, well, you're not going to succeed very well until you become more heart-centered. So those of us that are not as heart-centered have to become more heart-centered. Those of us who are not so mentally acute, we have to practice that and allow that accuracy to come in, that precision, that thoughtfulness to come in. You know, spiritually, you're going to grow. Like it or not, you're going to grow. If you're not very good at forgiving, guess what? It's holding you back. Forgiveness is a huge piece of your achievement, my achievement, and I can vouch to this, because when I was going diamond, everything was going great, and then everything started fizzling out, and I was like, I'm working so hard, and I remember I was so committed to it, and I sat down, and my surname is Tara, and this Tara in the Buddhist tradition. I'm not Buddhist, but the Buddhist tradition, Tibetan Buddhism, is the goddess of compassion. And I have Taras actually around my house, also Kuan Yin, the divine feminine. And I sat down in front of Tara and I said, Tara, what should I do? What should I do? I'm doing everything I know. And this voice came distinctly and said, it is time to forgive your parents. Like, wait, what? And I felt like a 3-year-old. I was like, no. I was like, no. You know, my dad left. He just left us in the lurch with a crazy woman. And my mom, she just went crazy. And she didn't care about us, and no. And then it came again. The voice said, just gently, but kind of firmly, like, it's time to forgive your parents. And in that instant, I knew it was time to stop being a bolshy little kid, you know, who was, you know, just self-involved and self-righteous, and to forgive them, that they did the best they could. And I did in that moment. I felt it. I was like, yeah, I forgive them. I forgive you, because I love you. And, you know, I felt it in my heart. I felt this shift, and it was huge. And I felt it ripple all the way out across the universe. I felt it. I couldn't see it with my eyes, but I could see it with my spiritual eyes. This peacefulness came. And literally minutes later, because I was in my office, the phone started ringing, and the diamond ship started coming back together. Now, I actually went diamond here in Toronto at the Toronto Convention, and it was the first time in my life that my father ever came to see me do anything. I had asked my father to come see me dance for years, and his response was always, yes, darling, but I'm so busy right now. Can't do it right now. Yes, darling, I'll come. Can't come right now. He saw me once when I was 11 on Covent Garden stage do Nutcracker. And I was very excited. In fact, I was so excited that my dad was there that I forgot to run off the stage. The Royal Ballet. The first time I was just so excited that Daddy was there that I forgot to. But I did well. I fudged it well, and then I ran off. But I was one of the little girls at the party, and then I was one of the little rats, and you know. And so, but he never saw me do anything again. National Ballet, I would beg him to come, and he never came. And then when I left ballet, he was furious. He was like, "Well, Julie, I was going to come and see you next, month or whatever." And I was like, "It's too late. It's too late. I've left. It's over. It's done." So he actually came to Toronto here and stood in the front, and I went diamond, and my whole speech from stage with Mr. Masuda there and everything was about my dad. and how he was in Western medicine for all of his life, and he'd done so many great things, and I wanted to stand on his shoulders and take health and medicine to its next level, to vibrational medicine. That's what I felt that I was doing. And he was just so thrilled and so proud, and I was thrilled and proud, and it was an incredible healing for us. Because, you know, can you imagine when I brought up my children without meat, without dairy food, without sugar, without vaccinations? Can you imagine the flack I got from my father? Your kids are going to be unhealthy, they're going to be sick, they're going to be small, they're going to be rebellious, they're going to be, you know, but they'll be stunted and they'll be stupid. That was the other thing, they'll be stupid because you're not feeding them right. And I was like, well, Dad, they're never sick, they never need antibiotics, I don't know. And then they got bigger and bigger and bigger, they got smarter and smarter, so they're a lot smarter, they're a lot bigger. They're great kids, hardly ever been sick in their entire lives, never seen a doctor, use all the Nikken products, and it was irrefutable. The evidence was in their brilliance. And, but you know, that was hard. It's hard to go against those that you love and that you've been brought up with, isn't it? It's hard to go against your cultural entrainment. But you have to know what you know. You have to really listen to your own truth, your own spirit. And no matter what anyone says to you, trust your own knowingness and follow it. Follow your gut. Don't let them take you down. Don't let the negativity get you down. And that's where we have to be really strong, all of us. Because that negativity, sometimes you think like, is the world committed to negativity or positivity? Is it committed to poverty or abundance? Is it committed to suffering or joy? What is our world committed to? But the question is, what are we committed to? What am I committed to? And then how can I, you know, help you to maybe make that shift, you know? And so that's what we're all doing for each other. And don't think that, you know, all diamonds have it all figured out, because we don't at all. Because we all help each other all the time, you know? So these are some really key elements. So this like forgiveness piece, that's key. If you have emotional traumas in your life, let them out, release them, express them, because if you don't, they are taking up space in you, and they will keep your vibration low. So if you have grief to release, release it. If you have anger to release, release it in some safe, proper way, of course, but release it. Get it out of your body, get it out of your cells, so that you can move to the higher level of your true potential. Now, all of us have stuff. Every one of us has challenges. I've never met a person yet who hasn't had a challenge, some serious challenge in their life, right? Whether it's themselves, whether it's a child, you were talking about your son, you know, whatever. We have challenges. That's part of the life. There's that famous, what was that famous book, The Road Less Traveled, says, you know, life is difficult. Life is suffering. The Buddhists say life is suffering. There's suffering to happen. The question is, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? How do we work with it? How do we move through it? How do we release it so that we can become the sunshine, not only for ourselves, but for each other? How do we become the stars in the firmament? Because we are the stars in the firmament. So how do we actually become the star that we really are? So a lot of it's letting go, a lot of it's forgiveness, a lot of it's releasing. I do not hang around negative people. I do not. If somebody's negative, I'm not going to choose to be there for very long unless they're willing to switch it. Now, I have to also live with myself, so I have to live with my own negativity when I go to bed. I'm like, oh, I don't like that either. So, you know, change it up. If you're not feeling good, you know, get disciplined around your emotions. You can't afford to hold a negative thought for too long, or it's going to outpicture into your life. So it's about really getting strong and disciplined in all of that part, more than probably anything else. Yes, we need to take the action. Yes, we need to go talk with people, make friends, help them, you know, but it's the internal that's the key. And that's what I love in Nikken, is it's so much about personal growth. It's so much about that, and we know we can keep getting better and better and better. And if you ever think you've arrived, then you are in a dangerous situation, because suddenly then you become what? Prideful. Think of the 7 deadly sins and then the 7 heavenly virtues. Go for the virtues. and release the sins. And we all have areas to work on. Or we've all done things that we wish we hadn't. I mean, you know, I think I would vouch to say everybody's done some things they wish they hadn't, because that's how we learn. That's okay, as long as we learn from it. As long as we say, wow, that really, really didn't work. I vow I will not do that again. I'm going to do it better this time. I'm going to do it better this day. And so that's why we're all friends and sisters and brothers, is that we're all helping each other daily to do that. So stay connected. Get immersed. Don't play with this like it's a plaything. Get immersed in it. You see, a lot of people look in on Nikken like, oh, how lovely, you're making $50,000 a month. But this is like this kind of gloss between the two. It's like, take the gloss and move it to the side. Step in, because if he can do it, you can do it. If she can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Right? So don't hold yourself outside of that. See, we do it, and we do it in such a subtle way. It's just a little energy, subtle way that we just hold ourselves out, away from the absolute joy of our own discovery, of our own brilliance. We go, oh no, not me. You, yes, not me. That's rubbish. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes, yes. So just like move the glass away, move the veils away, step into your truth, into who you really are, and go out there and let's rock this world. Woo!